Welcome! If you're new here, hello, my name's Tammy, and I'm here today to show you what's in my basket. A makeup collection updated one is coming.
Your glass straws or the plastic?
A plastic one, please. We're gonna do a what's in my basket before. I know it's icy cold. I haven't eaten yet. It's like quarter to, what time is it?
It's
Quarter after 3, 3:20.
3:21. 3:21.
It's too late for me to have. I'm not gonna eat. Supper's right around the corner.
I had chicken nuggets.
I had a matcha, and now I am moving on to a brisk. This thing's been in the fridge for days. Brisk, zero sugar, a lemon iced tea. It does have calories and sodium in it, though. I was gonna get something to eat because I am a tad bit hungry, but supper's like zero sugar, but it's still sweet. But I do like this one. Anyways, gather your thoughts, Tammy. Yeah. What's in my basket? We're doing this video before I do a makeup collection. This basket, it's a nice basket. It's a big basket. I got it from the dollar store. I paid $4.50 for it. It's currently housing makeup that I decluttered from my collection, but I still have it. I'm not gonna like review everything in here. The main factor is I'm not getting rid of what's in this basket. This basket sits on a shelf at my desk. And sometimes I go in here and I play with what's in here. First things first, the e.l.f. Simply Enchanted Face Palette. This made it to the basket because it's so basic. I don't like the colors for my face. It's supposed to be like highlighter, bronzing, contour. To me, it's just a straight up eyeshadow palette. And yeah. That's what it's going to be kept for. Also, this basket is for my daughter Grace, who, if she wants to come in here and play, she can. Anyways, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just for the bronzers and the highlighters, and that doesn't work for me. For eyeshadow, sure. So that made it to the basket. This ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade, it's an ultra metallic Mogul. This made it because I don't know what I was thinking buying this particular one. It's in the basket because my thought is it's like a purple, blue base purple, I guess you would say. My thought was keep it for an eyeliner. And again, a basket of makeup for Grace to play in. Maybelline Nudes of New York. This is a good one. And you know what? I'm going to do a full face of Maybelline once I finish getting a few more things. I'm glad I'm looking in this because this is a good palette. It's a very basic, very neutral. I took it out of my collection because I don't reach for it a lot. I have other palettes I reach for more than this one. When I do my full face Maybelline, this will probably be the eyeshadow palette that I use. Because the other day I was thinking, do I need to pick up a Maybelline eyeshadow? But no, I guess I can use this one. Yeah, nothing wrong with it. I gravitate towards other palettes over that one. This Pure On Point Thursday eyeshadow palette. This is the first pure eyeshadow palette I've ever used, and it's mediocre. The color story is nice. The quality I didn't like. Like, I like e.l.f. eyeshadow quality more than the quality of this. But again, if I'm ever like, I want to use these tones and I can't find something in my collection, I would use it, but it's It's a quality thing. Not a fan. Wet n Wild. Another palette that's good. This one is Camo Flaunt. I like all the shades in here, except I don't like this glitter. I really like this shade. This is just in here, kind of running out of space to put my, like, running out of space for just everything. Even though I like this, except for this shade. They should have done like a quince where they just did these four. They gotta stop putting these straight up glitter that are not safe for the eyes in here. Now I'm like, my thoughts are like, whoa. Quality's good. This is crap. Even though the quality is good and I do like it, it's more of I gravitate towards other things, even though I like this. And a space issue. Pacifica Cherry Cheek Powders. Blushes. This was one of my favorite blush palettes ever. Although, for the most part, I don't think I used this one. Like, maybe once or twice. Constantly using these two and then this one. I stopped using it. It is old. Still works. Quality's great. You know what I realized when I actually start paying attention to how things look on the camera and in mirror? These leave a silver ashy hue to my cheeks, so I stopped using it. Maybe one day, if they change the undertones of these, I would consider picking it back up. They do still sell this one, but the undertone, I didn't realize how gray and ashy this was looking on me. But the quality of it is good. Another Wet n Wild color icon. And this one is in Go Commando. Same deal with the first one as this. Oh no, this one doesn't have it. So this one doesn't have one of those chunky glitters. Honestly, I swatched this and that was it. It's very pretty. The color story is not something... Okay, let me just say, I don't know why, but I feel like this color story does not look good on me. And I'm not going... Like, it's decluttered from my collection, but I'm not going to declutter it from my life. Because in the event that I'm like, hey, let's give this color story a try. I mean, this is like looking at a fall palette. I don't know. I feel like it's mostly this color and this color that freak me out because I feel like they don't suit me. Let me guys know. Let me guys know. Holy moly. Let me know. What do you guys think? Have you guys used this one? The Go Commando? It's pretty. And the quality on these is nice too. Nothing wrong with it. This is Wet n Wild, not Elf. It's the color story, for the most part, of why I took it out. I have a Z palette with random eyeshadows. These are all ColourPop. These three are Haas Labs. I took them from one of her eyeshadow palettes, because these are the three shades I kept going to. These 6 are Natasha Denona shades that I depanned from. I think they're like the larger 5-pan palettes or 6-pan palettes. I do have other ones, but they made their way into another Z palette because they were my favorites. This is staying for now. It's decluttered from my collection. But some of these I still like this golden yellow. I like these. I like these right here. I already have all of these ones in other palettes, like ColourPop palettes. So, I don't know. And then, again, these are nice. These Natasha Denona ones. I just kind of similarly to like this. I feel like these tones don't suit me, but our daughter might one day be like, hey, I'll use them. Or I might dip into them. Or one day I may just empty this out and then fill it with something else. Alright. Revlon Color Stay Day to Night. I have 2 of these. One's still in my collection. It's as basic can get. But it's still in there. This one is... what's the color? 560 Stylish, or... I'm not too sure of the shade name. It's the Revlon Color Stay. When I picked this one up, I picked it up because it made me think of a Charlotte Tilbury quad. Quality's nice. Good pigmentation. I feel like it's along the similar lines where I feel like these tones don't suit me. Am I just delusional and these would suit me?
Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
How much did Allie and Peter cost?
Free, except for all the vaccinations and stuff.
Oh, you got them free?
Yeah, somebody was giving them away. I don't think I've actually used this one on my eyes. I know I've swatched it, but that's as far as I went. I should do a video on this one. It's pretty. Why do these tones make me think they wouldn't look good? CoverGirl 212 Shimmering Beige. This one I took out because although I am a basic girl with my eyeshadows, I mean, I do neutrals and stuff. Like today's look it's messy. Is it one of my, well, both eyes. So as you can see, my eye's been watering, so I've been dabbing. That one's not too bad. It's like I do a lot of neutrals and stuff. This is so bland. I said I wasn't gonna swatch anything, but I'll swatch it. These feel so nice. Very basic, very neutral. I don't even know why I took this one out. I think it was because I was like, I already have so many basic things. And again, it's like I also have like a space issue, so stuff that I'm not constantly using or gravitating towards are in this basket. There's nothing wrong with this one either. If you need something to throw in your purse or your bag, this is perfect. These are so soft. But yeah, that's literally the basic girly. That's all basic girly would need.
I have it narrowed down to 2 each.
Okay. We would still have to like go to a shelter and look. Not guaranteed to get those ones.
I know, but like these 2 are probably the least expensive of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 2 cats I put down are the least expensive. Yeah, it's either Australian Cattle, Border Collie, Birmingham, Manx.
Okay. Grace is researching cats and dogs. The next thing that made it to the basket is this L'Oreal lipstick in the shade 140 Mauved. It's color Riche. I was thinking it was going to be like, I don't know what I was thinking. This looks, I mean, now it's not going to probably look bad. When I put it on the first time, even the second time, okay, you see that shine? I don't want that. It looked metallic on my lips. I guess if I just do the one swoop like I just did, it's not bad. But if I really go in there, this light's not doing it justice. This, you see how metallic that is? Do my lips look metallic?
No.
They look clownish, don't they?
You look like a robot.
A robot? I don't have a mirror. Trust me when I say this looks... Can I maybe pick you guys up? Frosted. That's the word. It looks too frosted and too metallic for me. It's a pretty shade though, but... So, I don't know. This light's not doing it service. It's super frosty. I feel like right now, though, it's not looking how it looked when I first put it on. But it's too frosty for me. It makes me think of like a lip that I would have done in like grade 7 and 8. So that's why that's out. I didn't realize how frosty it was looking. Okay, I'm going to put on a crappy lip oil. Crappy to me. I don't like the ColourPop Luxe lip oils. I'm trying to use this up though, so it doesn't like, you know, get trashed. I know it's only a few dollars, but still. It's not so bad that it's like, oh, throw it in the trash, but I don't like it.
Oh, I forgot my horse was pregnant.
I would not for me, this is not something I would go out and buy any more of and be like, oh, maybe a different color will be different. No, it makes my lips feel drier. The next thing in the basket, Nude by Nature. Shoppers Drug Mart no longer sells this. I don't know if anyone still sells this or if this company is still around. This is the Nude by Nature contour palette. This used to be my go-to contour under eye brightening palette before I tried the Smashbox Cali Contour palette. This is old. It is have a little bit of hard pan, but even though it has hard pan, it still picks up. But I don't use this one anymore because when it comes to like contour, one, I prefer to do cream contour, and then I don't know. It was my favorite once upon a time ago. I probably could trash this one now that I'm showing you that it's in here, because I already know I will never go back into this one, so I'll put that one off to the side. I do think that one can actually go. I do have some backup skincare in here as well. The next thing that made it in here is the Tarte Modern Mosaic eyeshadow palette. This came in a set, so it's like an eyeshadow palette, and then there was like a trio. It was like a blush, a cream blush, bronzer, and highlighter. I believe I already like trashed that because it was cream. That didn't work for me. I wasn't a fan. The eyeshadow palette, however, I do like this. It's muted. You can get like a barely there look. You really need to build it up, but it's still pretty. This is one of those ones like you could just plop it in your purse. It's still pretty. It's not one that I'm ready to like say adios to yet. Yeah, so, and again, it's in the basket because I don't always gravitate towards it. And again, a space issue. I need to organize stuff. But yeah, and I don't know if you can buy this because this one did come in a set with a face palette. I'm not sure you could buy this one anymore. But there are 4 shimmers and 4 mattes, and yeah, it's very nice if you like soft eye looks. This next one is Ciate London, and this is the olive. It says eye and face 9-piece eyeshadow palette. Oh no, there must be another one. Where is that? I took this one out because I don't always use these colors, like greens, whatever, but I want to keep it so that I have it. These are so, I mean, soft. I got the light shining in my face so I can't see. These are also very soft, so pretty. Nothing wrong with it. It's just I don't gravitate towards these, but in the event that I want one of these shades, I want to keep it so I have it. I don't want to swatch everything, but these are... Just grab a wipe, because if I do want to swatch something, I can show you guys. Okay, this is probably one of the biggest disappointments that is in this basket. I think my expectations for this palette was really high. One, it's like an $80 palette in Canada. Two, I did not pay nowhere near $80. I found it at Winners and I paid $18 to like $24 for it. And it's the Lawless The One palette. This is like the biggest disappointment I've ever had in an eyeshadow palette. Great color story. It's warm, it's neutral, it's basic, it's got a pop of purple, mauve right here. It's matte heavy. The shimmers suck, okay? I never thought that I really cared about my shimmers. I care about my shimmers, okay? I used to be a matte heavy person because all matte looks, even to this day, an all matte look is beautiful. But I find myself over the past, I don't know, year or so, I like my shimmers. The shimmers in this suck. And that's just my personal opinion. Here's one. There's another one. That's not too bad. And that one's not too bad. They're not sparkly. They look more like, what would you call that? Not metallic. Depressing. I don't know. That's supposed to be a shimmer, but it looks powdery. The quality of the mattes is fine. Nothing wrong with it. For all the reviews, and this is why I say, take people's reviews with a grain of salt, okay? This is one palette. I waited years to buy it from the time that it came out. I waited years. And I was so close to purchasing it off Sephora, and I'm glad I didn't, because then I would have returned it. I would have returned it if I bought it from Sephora at the $80 price tag, which it still is sitting at. There's something on my thing. I'm keeping it. Again, my daughter can use it. The quality's not bad, but the shimmers suck. How many times can I say that? And again, that's personal opinion. You might have this and you might think it's the best thing since sliced bread, but to me, it's not. I was just expecting, you know what? I don't know what the heck I was expecting with this, but it's not what I got.
Nothing is better than bread. Bread.
If you don't care about shimmer and how punchy the shimmer is, this is good. The mattes are good. I will give it that. But I don't know what I think my expectations based on reviews had that way up there. My nose is going to start running because it's getting cold.
It's not cold.
All right, this was an impulse purchase because Star Wars. Pat McGrath. I'm going to take a second here for a second to say that every Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette that I have purchased is in this basket. The only thing from Pat McGrath that has not made its way into this basket is a Lust lip gloss, which is one of my top favorite lip glosses I've ever used. And this is why I say when I buy makeup, I want to buy makeup based on my preferences, based on how long I've been wanting it. I take other people's reviews with a grain of salt now. Okay? I shouldn't have bought this. This is supposed to go to my niece, but she moved. She hasn't asked about it, so it's in the basket. It's the Pat McGrath Labs, the golden one, Star Wars. I like the packaging. It's probably my favorite thing about this. I don't know what it is about the Pat McGrath eyeshadows. My eyes, her stuff draws me in. The color story. Okay, I know for this one, it's the color story. These two shadows, yeah, I would use. But because I know I'm probably not going to use these three, to me, it's a waste. What was I thinking? Besides Star Wars, what was I thinking? Online, I don't think this looked as red as it does maybe to me. But I pulled it out because I don't gravitate it. And if I were to use it, it's going to be those two shades only. These three are just, I'll swatch them. Like butter. I'm not saying her quality's bad, guys, okay? That's just me dipping my finger. Look at that. That color, I don't like it. And then I'm not a fan of gold, so again. And you're probably like, Tammy, what? It's so neutral, you could use it. This middle one, see how gold it is? Would you use this?
Yep.
This whole... Do you want this one?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. I guess Grace will take this one. It's like butter, especially that shade right there. There's nothing wrong with the quality. Like I said, her stuff draws me in because it's just eye-catching. So there's those three shades. So that one, like these two are, I consider both these gold, but this one's more gold. This one's like a bronze gold. Could I make these work? Sure. But I don't want to keep this for myself to use just these two shadows, which again,
that's what I'm thinking.
like, I know I would use these two. Like, I don't want to keep it for these two, but this and this, bam, you're done. If I ever do want to use this, I know all I gotta do is like, hey Grace, I need to use those two shades. And she'd be like, okay. Yeah, there's... Oh, I'm like, where's the other one? It's right here. I was doing the wrong finger. And those two are right there. I need a wipe. Yeah, I'm going to take this out. That will go to Grace. Because I do know she does like gold eyeshadow.
Wow.
And you might be like, you're giving that to your child? She's almost 14. And you know what? I already paid for it. So...
Actually, I am 14.
You're not 14 yet.
Yeah.
You got till August. So, yeah, that's why that one's pulled, because I would only use 2 out of the 3 shades, and I should have put more thought into that. Okay, this one, I bought it because Chucky.
Chucky?
Yeah. Do you want to know why I don't use it? You guys will see as soon as I open it. Why doesn't Tammy use this? It's not looking as scary right now.
Oh, excuse me.
I feel like some of these are showing up lighter with the light. It just looks too dark for me, like too goth grungy. I played with it once. I think I've done one look with it, and I want to play with it some more because some of these shades I haven't even swatched. This is Glam Light, in case you guys didn't know that. Yeah, I know I've done one look with it, and I've swatched, I think, all of the shimmers. I do want to keep this one because this is not a color story that I have at all in my collection that I do gravitate towards. So this should be enough to keep me from being a dumbass and rebuying another color story like this, knowing fully well I have one that I don't gravitate towards, but in the event that I do want these colors and tones, it's here. And I do like Glam Light's formula. I have 3 other palettes that I do use. All right, the next thing is this Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush in the shade 1 Shimmering Rose. I have another one. It's in my collection because I do use that one. This one's super light on me, and that's why I pulled it out, but I still want to keep it in case it's right there. But I still want to keep it. It says Shimmering Rose, but to me it looks kind of peachy. But you see how like it blends away? Because Grace might want something like this, or I don't know. Maybe I want a Barely There blush color, and I would use that. I thought I took a wipe out. I did. This palette I like. It's from Nicole Miller, New York. Classy Nudes. Mattes and Shimmers. I did buy this from one. I like the packaging. It's like hard plastic. I got this from Winners. And yeah. I gravitate towards other palettes that have this a similar color story. This is very easy to use. It's buildable. That's the shade right here. Like if we just, the shimmers are very, like for the, what do you call it? This is what I would expect of something random, like a random eyeshadow palette from Winners. That's not like a high-end name brand. It's very pretty and buildable, but it's in the basket because I have things that similar color story that I gravitate towards. And I think I bought that one with Huda Beauty in mind. I don't think Huda has a palette this color story, but it made me think of something that she had or does have. I know so many people, this is another palette a lot of people like. I'm sorry for the glare on my glasses, but if I want to read, I need them on. Things are getting stuck in my hair. This is a favorite of many people. ColourPop, not a box of chocolates. It's not my favorite. Is the quality there? Sure. Got something on the back of it. Quality's there. This one could use a mirror. The times that I've used this one, I found it too muddy. And I think it got muddy on me because the only shade in here that's light to use for transition for me is this one. And it's not light enough. To me, it's too much of that peachy. I mean, I know it's looking like a cream color here. It's not. It doesn't. On my lids, because my lids are so white, it pulls more peach orange leaning, and I don't like that. They need to remove this shade. Is it that one? Yeah. I can't stand that. The chunky glitter. Stop putting that crap in palettes in general, no matter what brand you are. Stop it. It's not safe for the eyes, for one. I'm not getting rid of it because it's a neutral palette. What does this remind me of? This reminds me of a Wet n Wild palette that I have that I actually like better than this one because it doesn't make me look muddy. I feel like every look I do with this one looks muddy. Do you guys know what I mean by muddy? Like muddy, dirty. I don't know. Quality is good. Don't get me wrong there. Quality, this is ColourPop. This is ColourPop shadows. I don't know what is it too dark for me? It's the colors, I don't know. Keeping it, because again, that's something I could dip into if I want to. Or our daughter. Yeah.
What?
I'm talking about this palette right here. Look. No? Okay. This is the very first Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette I bought. It was one of these two that I bought first. This I did not pay the price that it originally started at. I got this half off for sure. I paid under $40 for this. I'm almost certain. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana. Or originally, this is not the one I wanted. I wanted the other one that came out before this one, but I waited too long and then it was gone. And then I seen this one. Why is her packaging so pretty? Why did I take this one out of my collection? One, it's a honking palette, so I don't have space for it. Two, even though I still use this one randomly, because I do use it randomly, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like if I want a punch of purple or, I don't know. Even though the quality is good, I feel like I'd rather use Natasha Denona. I feel like I'd rather use ColourPop. And people, I know there are Pat McGrath people out there who are like, no, why would you use ColourPop over Pat McGrath? There's nothing wrong with her quality. I'm telling you that right now. It's perfectly fine. I don't know. I do like her neutrals. So pretty. It's big, it's clunky, so it's out. I don't use this one a ton. This is one of those palettes. I don't know, I pull it out randomly and use it. It's not a quality. Is that what you say? Quality? It's not a quality issue. It's not a blendability issue. It's just because it's expensive, just because it's Pat McGrath, doesn't mean everyone's gonna be like, oh, well, I only use my Pat McGrath over my ColourPop or Natasha Denona or my Wet n Wild or even my e.l.f. It's just personal preference. I like this palette. I like the quality. I have other palettes that I gravitate towards more. But when I'm playing around or whatever and just, like, hey, I should haul out that Pat McGrath palette, I pull it out. I've done a purple look with this. I've done a neutral look. I've done a pinky look. I have done a look with the green, and I'm pretty sure I've done with the blues as well. Not all on camera. I think I have 1 or 2 videos using this one on camera on YouTube. But otherwise, I've used it off camera. Again, it's not a quality thing. It's big. It's a big, bulky palette that doesn't fit in with my other stuff. And again, I have other palettes that I gravitate towards. This next palette, I wanted this one since it came out. Bought it. Have not used it. And I think I figured out why a couple of weeks ago. So this is the Nomad Cosmetics Hudson Valley. Love the package. Fall's my favorite season. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. We get sunny days. We get rainy days. The fall's perfect. Things change. It's like turning over a new leaf, a new beginning. But you could also say that about the spring. When the snow's leaving and the spring's rolling in. Anyways, we're not going to get all poetic here. Grace is saying stuff in the back. Has a mirror. Fantastic. This is not a quality issue. I wanted this one so bad. I should have asked myself, Tammy, did you take the time to look at the damn swatches online? You want to know why? Because if I did, I would have known that these 3 here were the shimmers. Is there anything wrong with these shimmers? No, there isn't. Something's wrong with me. You want to know what it is?
You're bland.
Grace just said it. I'm bland. I don't do colorful shimmers. Secondly, these are the only 3 shimmers in this palette. Okay? I think if they would have done... I don't know. What am I looking for, Tammy? I don't know. These are pretty. They're fun. They're bright. I know I can make these work. Why do they only have 3 colorful shimmers in this one? Like, I should not have bought in this one. I do regret buying this one. Shouldn't have bought it. I have it. I'm not going to get rid of it. This is one of those things where... This is one of those palettes where if I want a colorful shimmer, I know this one has 3 fantastic shimmers in it that are colorful. Secondly, why did I buy this? I'm such a dumbass. I know I bought this one because I seen it and I was like, oh, it's fall in a palette. I gotta have it. You know what, folks? Don't be me. You want to know something? I haven't even swatched this. I've constantly swatched the 3 shimmers and that's it. None of the mattes, there's 3, 6, 12 mattes. None of them have been touched. They haven't even been swatched. And they all have like little photos in them. I don't know if I can get them to show up, but they all have photos in them. Like there's like little pumpkins in this one. There's like an apple cider, embossments, whatever you want to call them. This one has like 2 cups clinking together. Would you use this one?
No.
She's not even looking. It's a beautiful color story. I need to stop looking at things and being like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And then getting it and being like, shit, what am I going to do with this? Because even now, I'm like, what am I going to do with this? I don't want to get rid of it. Because what if there's like, hey, I could really use a lime green shimmer. I don't have one. Now I need to go buy one. I know I don't need to because I have like lime green and orange shimmer, a yellow. I mean, this has like yellow, some red, burgundy, browns. I don't know. Don't be like me and buy something based on a, wow, look at that. It's shitty that I bought this and I haven't used it. I feel like this is one of those ones I need to put out and keep out. And make myself do a few looks with it. Because I do have another Nomad palette that I do use. Alright, this is a favorite of some people. Not a lot, but some people. When I seen this one, I was like, that's right up my alley. Like, I knew without a doubt. And I do like this one, but I think I have to use it again. It's the Too Faced Born This Way, the Natural Nudes. It's a complexion-inspired palette. It's everything that a basic person needs. Or for the basic neutral eye girly needs. I like it. I've used it several times. I feel like my issue with it is not the mattes, it's the shimmers. If I remember correctly, I feel like the shimmers in this one crease on my lids, and I don't have oily eyelids. So I've used this a handful of times. Like at least, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 10 times. The looks are always pretty. I gotta use it again. Because I do feel like these ones, the reason why I took it out is because they crease on me. The shimmers do. And for me, I mostly use the shade, these two, these two, these two, and these two. And then, yeah, I said these two. And these two. So I don't really use this one. And I don't really use these 4. But I have used, I mean, I have gone into these 2. But not a lot. I should pull this one out as well and do a get ready with me using this so I can do an all day wear test again to see. I feel like it's the shimmers. The last palette, it's Pat McGrath. When I seen this, I was like, look how pretty it is. The packaging. This has both eyeshadows and blushes. There's one blush in here. It's one of my favorite blushes. So this is the Pat McGrath Mothership Bijou Bijou, Brilliance, Starstruck, Splendor, Blush and Eyeshadow Palette. There was 2 of these. I think, what does the other one look like? Having my time back, I think I should have bought the other one. This one's crumbling. Well, a specific shade in here, it's upside down, but I don't want the mirror in your faces, so I got it flipped upside down. This shade's crumbling. It's one of my favorite shades in here, but you have to be so careful. It's not a smooth shimmer at all. It's crumbly. And I feel like you gotta be careful with it. It's nothing spectacular, but it's pretty. What drew me in for this one was I am that person. If I can get eyeshadows and face things on one, I like that. Although this is only eyeshadow and blushes, that was enough for me to buy it. The color story is very pretty. You can do very basic neutrals. This blush is what I use the most in here. I'm probably these 3 shades. I've done 1 or 2 looks with this on YouTube, and then I've used it off of YouTube, like off of recording. I like it. I don't know. There's something about Pat McGrath stuff. It's more eye-catching than it is like, oh, I love my Pat McGrath stuff. One, I don't love my stuff. And if I ever do say I love something, I don't really love it, but it's like top tier. This blush, though, I tried to find this one on its own. I'll swatch the other one too. My question, you know what I was going to do with this? I was going to try and get the blushes out of here and put them in my Z palette. How many people would I piss off if I did that? I like the 2 blushes the most. But that one's my favorite. They're just, I don't know, they're very pretty. The eyeshadows are nice shadows. The packaging is what got me. Seeing this shade in here got me. And then like this one. And then this one changes color. So to you guys, like looking in the here, it looks like this lime green. But then in reality, it looks like a dark blue aqua. Like it shifts color. And I feel like, does this one shift color too? Look how pretty. I don't have a shade like that. And I don't have a shade like this. See how it's like, to me it's ugly, okay? Let's just put it that way. It's like an ugly green. In the pan, it looks like it has like this aqua, looks like it has like this aqua teal thing to it. But when I put it on my eyes, you almost have to get like the right light to see the teal to it. And when I swatch it, I can see the teal. But once it's right there. This looks exactly how I expect it to look. This does not. This goes more gold, that golden, ugly green. I don't know. But on my hand in person, I can see the teal. So that's pretty much why I don't use this one. Because of that one green shade. And then the favorite eyeshadow shade that's in here is Chunky. I do get fallout with the shimmers in here. The mattes are fine. And in all honesty, it's only 4 matte shadows. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to know what? I have those shades in other palettes. Quite frankly, I have this shade and that shade in other palettes. I mean, I can tell I've been in this palette and I use it on and off. But I don't like that color because it's mostly like this golden green. To me, it's ugly. I don't like it. This is pretty. The mattes are fine, but I have them in other palettes. And then this one is it's chunky, and I just end up with fallout all down my face. The other two shimmers are, did I swatch those? They're fine, but I have these 100 times over. So, I don't know. I've been thinking, like, who can I pass this on to? Because I wouldn't sell it. But I don't have anybody who lives near me who I can be like, hey, do you want this? Part of me's thinking, Tammy, it's your palette. You paid for it with your own money. I'm thinking of just destroying this and taking the two blushes out and putting my Z palette. Because at the end of the day, it's mine. And a lesson learned. Tammy, do not buy Pat McGrath eyeshadows. Like, see how pretty those are? But it's like, do I just keep the palette intact and just when I want one of those blushes, go get it? Because again, there's nothing wrong with Pat McGrath's eyeshadows. It's her packaging that gets me. She does have some of her mothership palettes. She has like 3. But you know why I haven't bitten the bullet? One, they're $176 Canadian or $178 Canadian. I would consider buying one during a VIB sale, whatever you want to call it. But then I have this conversation. This is the last item in the basket. I have the conversation with myself. Would I actually use them? Our Sephora doesn't have those ones for me to swatch. Because it's not just like, okay, Color Story is 100% what I do tend to go for. Color Story. But the quality, I don't mind shadows if you got to build them up. I don't mind that. It's easier to add on than it is to take off, okay? So I don't mind buildable eyeshadows. I don't mind eyeshadows where if you dip the brush in, there's powder and because some people are like, oh, it's powdery, this is no good. I could care less if there's kick up, you know? It's kick up. So those two things don't bother me. What does bother me is when things don't look on the eye how they look in the palette. That bothers me. It might be like not a big deal. I don't like when something's so beautiful like that and it's chunky. I literally just dipped my finger in that shade. And can you guys see? Just for me dipping my finger in there. And then I go to try and pat it back down in there. That's probably one of those shades where, you know, you probably got to wet your brush. Not everybody wants to wet their brush, okay? And then glitter fallout. Sometimes glitter fallout, like that's stunning. I do like it. Okay, I might have said it's nothing special, but I do like that. But whenever I use that shade, not only does the whole shadow fall apart and I gotta repress it back in there, unless I'm going to take the time to wet my brush, and I don't always want to do that, there's glitter fallout everywhere. And as someone who doesn't wear foundation, as someone who's not always putting powder on that I could brush away, I don't want to have to deal with that. As pretty as it is. Am I going to destroy this palette and take the blushes out? I don't know. I might just keep it as it is, and then when I want to use those blushes, I'll just dig them out. Because I do really like those blushes. The one that I use the most, though, is this one. Have any of you guys bought a palette, whether it's from Pat McGrath or somebody else, and then, like, you regretted it? I think these two are probably my two biggest regrets of purchasing. And that, my friends, is what's in my basket. This nice basket. See this basket? I've got like 4 or 5 more of these kicking around. Because I use these for storage in the bedroom closets, for one. They come in handy. Yeah, so what did I say? One thing's going in the trash. This will go in the trash because it's not going to get used. Grace is going to take this because she said she'll use it. If she changes her mind, I'll just put it back in the basket. Am I going to get rid of anything else? I'm going to keep these. I know that. Because they're fun to have. And also, I do want to do a look. I do have Super Shock shadows that I could also pull in. So that's something I need to remind myself of. Is there anything? You know what? This is gonna go to the trash. Because that's not something I'm gonna dip back into. Let's be honest. Okay. Keeping. Keeping. We've already talked about why things are in this basket. Keeping so that I don't turn around and re-buy it again. This is nice if you going on a plane or something. Keeping. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that I'm going to keep these. I feel like I need to do a look with this one too. I need to not be scared of those warm tones. They might work on me. I don't know. Keeping. Part of me wants to trash this one just because of this shade. But I like the other 4 shades. So, keeping. If there's anything in this basket you want me to do a get ready with, leave it down in the comments. I'll just go in order of that they get posted in. I'm like... Grace, would you ever use this?
No.
I'm gonna declutter this one. Meaning out of the basket, out of my life. Yeah. Even as an eyeshadow palette, am I gonna dig into this? No. So that's gonna go, that's going adios amigo. Keeping. And keeping for now. The only other thing that I'm contemplating is this. Let me swatch this. I was disappointed with this. I just swatched the shade and I'm like, that's really dark, but it's pretty. What? Why does that look... Does that look gray? You see, that shade... This shade is this one right here. Why does it look like... It says happy hour. Why does that look like in the pan it would be something totally different? So I swatched this one, and this one, and that's those 3 shades. I gotta do it on the palm of my hand because I feel like I get it better. I wonder if this is one of those eyeshadow palettes where you need to use your fingers and not a brush. They don't look horrible. That shade doesn't look how it looks in the pan at all. And then, so those are like their 3 shimmers. I mean, if you put them on your eye, they're not going to have that glare. Like, that's not going to be that, like that. That'll probably look just satin. And then the 3 mattes. I think I did a look with this one on camera. I think I know why I didn't like it. It's too gray. It's too ashy gray. That's why I didn't like it. And the quality. So there's the 3 mattes. I want to see if I can build these up a little. As soon as I put my finger in, you see I pick it. There's like a big chunk of it right there. That's why I don't like this one. I should grab a brush. Make sure I put these in the right ones. Can you see there? It's chunky. Right there. And I'm going in because I'm trying to build these up. I bet you probably could build them up with a brush. Look how dark. That doesn't look mauve. This is supposed to be like a... This one's not chunky. This one, that one goes on a hell of a lot smoother. But look how much, it's not much color payoff. I mean, just because I am a neutral girl doesn't mean I want everything to be like you having to build it up. Yeah, I think that's answering my question for this one. Lesson learned, Tammy. I just don't like the quality of the pure eyeshadows. I haven't bought pure in a long time. One thing I do like that they have, I don't have it, but I've bought it twice, 2 or 3 times over the years, is they have this face powder, foundation powder. Because I don't think it's a setting powder. I think it was a face powder. Yeah, I don't think I want to keep this one in here either because does it look pretty? Sure. It's, I mean, I just swatched it. To me, it looks too gray. Even though, like, I thought it was going to be like pinky purple. And I'm not going to bother buying another one. I guess at this angle, you can see how gray that one is and how gray that one is. Part of me's like, keep it because I've only used it a few times, but I know Grace is not going to use this one. I don't have anybody here, like my sisters, like everybody lives way too far away. So I'm going to adios to that one. And yeah, that's what's in my basket. I'll record... This Get Ready With Me is going up tomorrow because today's Thursday. The Get Ready With Me for what's on my face today, which I do need to do a check-in tonight. See how it holds up. My eye's been watering. So that's what that problem over there is. This eye was starting to water. So although the inner part of my eyeshadow is staying great, the outer parts are not, because I've been like dabbing and, you know, all day. Everything else looks pretty much the same as it was. Except for the lip. My lip stuff came off, but that's to be expected. The what's in my basket, will that get posted? I'll post that today. Once I'm done, I'll go do a thumbnail for this and get it posted. Tomorrow's Friday. So the Get Ready With Me I did today will get posted tomorrow. A makeup collection. You know what? I don't know what to do. If I should break the makeup collection up. Like do eyeshadow palettes. Because we know me. I talk. Okay? I talk. do I break things up into like sections, or do people like, I do like longer makeup collection videos, but I will say my favorite part is the eyeshadow and the cheeks and the lips. I'm not interested in foundation or concealer, mascara, eyebrow stuff, or even highlighters. Everything else. Mine, I might split mine up into two. Oh yeah. Am I gonna keep this lipstick? It is a pretty color. It does have that L'Oreal smell. I don't know how you describe it. It's not fresh, fruity, or is it floral? I just remember that smell from when I was a kid. Maybe I'll hold on to it for nostalgia for now, just for the smell. Anyways, folks, that's what's in my basket. Do I take a photo? How do I take a photo? I don't know. What's in my basket? I'm gonna get off before I just start acting silly. I just want to bring something up right quick. You know who I didn't really forget about, but kind of forgot about? Graveyard Girls. Not Graveyard Girl. Graveyard Girl. Who used to watch her? I used to watch her adamantly, all the time. I was trying to explain her to my daughter. And I was like, Graveyard Girl's into everything strange and unusual. And I was like, she's interesting to watch. If you want someone who's a little bit spunky and funky and, you know, I haven't watched her in forever. And then I came across one of her videos a couple of days ago and I watched it. Did I resubscribe? I can't remember. I need to go check out her channel because I used to watch her all the time. She's fun. Especially when she would do her old sippy, if you know. If you know, you know. Anywho, she had an eyeshadow palette actually that I want to get, but it was during a time where, you know, couldn't afford stuff. Can't get it anymore, but, you know, that would have been a nice palette to have. I don't know about the quality of it, but it would have been nice. I will say, man, it feels good to be back to my chatty old self. I was going to be like, do you guys like when I'm chatty or not? But you know what? It doesn't really matter because I'm chatty and that's not going to go anywhere. It only goes away when I'm going through something. Or if my mood's low. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Did you fart?
No, that was my mouth.
It was what? Oh. I'm going to get out of here before I drag this on. Because you guys were here to see what's in my basket. And now that that's done, I'm going to get out of here. It's almost supper time. I need to eat. Anyways, until next time. Ciao.